Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she moves me. Don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Something in her smile, she knows that I don't need no other lover. Something in her style, she shows me I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. You're asking me, will my love grow? Well, I don't know. I don't know. You stick around now, it may show. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Hey everybody, welcome to MT Guitar. Hope you're doing well. Today we're doing a song that it's hard to sum up how gorgeous this song is in words, so we'll let the music do the trick there. But this was off of the last recorded album by the Beatles, Abbey Road. 1969 release, really shook the world in a good way in terms of how powerful of a songwriter Harrison had become. He had this song as well as Here Comes the Sun. So much to say about this song. It was released as a single with Come Together on the B side, and this was the first time that a Harrison original had been a A-side on a single. This was most commonly known as a love song to Pattie Boyd, who George was married to at the time. Harrison's solo on this is especially remarkable and thought to be some of his finest playing in the Beatles. So we're going to cover that note for note. On the acoustic, of course, you can do it on the electric. Luckily, it's possible on acoustic, so it's totally fine. I'm going to show you a few ways to play this song, but let's talk a little bit more about the history and then the music theory before we learn it. So Harrison played this a lot live throughout the 70s, and speaking of the 70s, this song was massively covered throughout the 70s, and I think it's the second most covered Beatles song after Yesterday. Sinatra covered it, Elvis covered it, Ray Charles, Smokey Robinson. And there's kind of a funny joke from the Beatles Anthology DVD series where Paul is talking about how Sinatra said famously, you know, something is my favorite Lennon-McCartney song, not knowing that it was, of course, a George Harrison song. So speaking of that, this is where really George came into his own, and people were like, wow, he's an incredible songwriter. And, you know, people didn't really know that before Here Comes the Sun and Something. They kind of got the idea with While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but this really drove it home. Now, the inspiration for the title actually came from James Taylor. James Taylor was signed by Apple Records. James Taylor is one of my favorite artists of all time. I've seen him live countless times. James had this song called Something in the Way She Moves. I love that. I play it all the time at my solo gigs. But George loved it and said, can I use your opening line in my opening line, and I'll title it differently? And James said, sure. They began rehearsing this song as early as the Let It Be album, the Get Back sessions, and you can hear John helping George with some lyrics, and George had the temporary line of "attracts me like a pomegranate," so kind of funny there. Speaking of earlier versions of this song, George did have a solo version of this song on the Beatles anthology. You can check that out. It's just him and an electric guitar. So when the Beatles went in to record Abbey Road, they were really more disciplined than on Let It Be, and they took this song a lot more seriously and realized, wow, this is a powerhouse of a song. So they really all brought their A game. Paul McCartney's bass line is just gorgeous, and we're going to talk about that as we go, how it changes the song. They brought in Billy Preston for the Hammond organ, who appeared on the Get Back documentary as well. Speaking of the bridge, Ringo does a 12/8 feel during the bridge. You asking me, will my love? Really interesting, because the song is not in 12/8 necessarily, and it's just such an interesting flavor. I didn't even realize it until close listening. George Martin also added orchestration, 21 strings. So they did quite a bit of orchestration throughout the whole Abbey Road album, and this song definitely benefited from that. All right, last couple notes. The music theory in this is just remarkable. It's descending half steps in the melody and in the chord progression. C major 7, C dominant 7. And the melody is following that. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. So it goes down from C all the way to A. And this is replicated somewhat in the bridge in the key of A major. So instead of C major, it goes to A major. And the same half step thing applies here, although it goes down some whole steps here. But it's this descending line that's truly remarkable, and I think it's what kind of makes this song so catchy. As far as the hook, right, we're going to learn it single note, but I'm also going to show you how to do it chord melody, meaning the chords beneath, there and here, you know, whatever, right? So there's 3 ways you can do that. I always like to give a couple options. Same thing with the turnaround, as I call it. You know, it's actually E augmented. All right, so if you don't like it there, you can do it where George did it in his live recordings, and probably in the studio recording as well, where he just went down here, where he does this. So either way, it's good. There'll be a full tab of this on the Patreon, as well as a chord sheet. And I'm also going to write out, it may not be up right away when this video posts, but I'm going to write out the solo for this chord melody that I did at the end of the demo. Kind of a fun way to beef up your chord melody chops, to play a melody on top of chords. It's a great thing to do. So remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and the Beatles won 2nd place in the MT Guitar poll. I'm also going to do Fleetwood Mac, Radiohead, and Grateful Dead, and just do a lesson of each. So look forward to that, and let's go ahead and jump into this lesson. All right, so this is a fingerstyle arrangement, but you're welcome to play it with a pick. The only time that a pick won't work is on the alternate version of how I arranged the turnaround. So you can't do that with a pick because there's too many strings that would ring out. Other than that, it can be played with a pick, but I'd recommend fingers. So we're going to start with the hook, also known as, some call it the chorus, which it's too short to be a chorus in my opinion. It's more of a hook. So I have 2 ways of showing you how to play that in an arrangement so that you can play it with chords and not have to jump all around. But you want to know the hook even just by itself, moving forward, right? And you're welcome to just to go like this, and then something in the way, totally fine. All right, 5th fret, 1st string, 7th fret, half step bend, unbend, and then back to 5th fret. So that's, and then 6th fret, 7th fret. Then it would have gone to the 8th fret if we weren't playing rhythm, right? So something in the way, okay? Or something in the way. Now, let's do it with some chords. So let's get an F, the kind that you use where the thumb's on the bass. And we're gonna go, basically the 3 bass strings here, then the melody is on the 3rd string, down an octave from where we just did it, 2nd fret. So hit that note. Now, 2nd string, 1st fret, pull off to open, 3rd string. Okay, now the next chord's an E flat. So obviously we know E flat is here, but we're going to do it here. so we don't have to move. And this is just like an E flat 5 or E flat power chord. So 4th and 3rd strings there, and then G, but stop on the 2nd string because the note melody now is on the 2nd string. So it's da, da, and then you're good to go for the verse. So all together, 3, 4. Good. Now we start the verse. All right. There's no need to do anything fancy because we're singing or we're strumming while someone is singing, right? So here's the pattern I recommend. It would be down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. That sounds like a lot, but that's repeatable for every single bar of the verse if you want, right? So that would be down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. This is a ballad, so that's actually a whole bar. So it's quite slow. It's, you know, it's 66 beats per minute or 70 or whatever. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you would keep going on each chord. Another way to think of this is you can count out the beats. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a. If you wanted to count it double time, you could count it as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. Either way. Very important to have that kind of awareness when it's a ballad because ballads can be really tricky to count. All right, so you could either count it normally or double time. That being said, that's going to be true for every chord unless otherwise noted. All right, one more time, nice and slow. C chord, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. Now you'll notice I'm not strumming all the strings all the time. So sometimes I'm strumming the bass string, sometimes I'm strumming the whole chord. It just depends on what beat it is. For the 2nd and 4th beat, we want to strum the whole chord to sort of mimic the snare. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a. Okay? There you go. Next chord would be C major 7 over G. So you'll notice in the recording that Paul changes the bass note to a G. It's now a C major 7 over G. So it's C major chord to a C major 7 over G. So move that ring finger to a G, lift the index finger, and then you have this beautiful chord here. All right, so then it goes to a C7 after that. So bring your ring finger back to the 5th string, and then F. I'm gonna decide at F major 7. You're welcome to do a full F bar chord, but I kind of like this F major 7 here. All right, so first 4-bar phrase, we're gonna strum the same pattern for each chord. 3, 4. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Okay, now on the F, our first finger style little pattern here. By the way, you notice I did a little hammer on. You can do that on the F. You don't have to, though. It doesn't really make a huge difference. When we're halfway through the F pattern, down, 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 up, then you would do this little bass walk. All right, the bass is going to play an increasingly important role as we go. 6th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, then release the thumb for an open, F over E basically. And do the same pattern. Now we go to D7. You're welcome to do this D7, which is what George did live, but I'm keeping everything as open as possible for now until we change it later. All right, so either way, they're both D7s. So then it's same pattern. So now we have our first fill. So let me play it first so you see what it sounds like. Okay, so that's going to be bass down up on a G. And then middle finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string, index finger, 1st fret, 2nd string. And you go with the right hand now, 3rd string, 1st string, 2nd string, and then slide up. There are 2 fingers here. And release the pinky. Then strum here, but get your ring finger on the 5th fret, 5th string, and you're just going to go down, up, down, down. So that's. Okay? If that's too complicated, no problem. Just strum a G, and you could add the bass line fifth string, open to second fret to mimic the bass. Either way, both are good. Or just strum a G. You can always make it simpler. Okay, now we have our turnaround. Now I might get some strange looks on this because I wanted to play an E augmented here, because the bass line goes doom, doom, doo, 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 really beautiful, but the bass goes up to E. And at first I thought it was over G sharp, but it's actually over E. So it becomes an E augmented. So it's A minor, same pattern, down, 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 up. Now for the second half of the pattern, go ahead and switch your fingers to be second fret, first fret, open from the fourth string down. And mute the fifth string with your ring finger and just go, all right, just strum those four strings. Don't want to leave it now. It's actually really nice. If you really wanted to have the bass, you could strum the sixth string as well. It'll sound like this. Okay? Then it's a C over G. So, C chord, but lift that ring finger, sixth string bass instead. Same pattern, and then D7. Now your hook. And then we have another verse. All right? Again, I'm going to teach you a new way to play the hook. Like that. Okay, so if you want to play it with chords, power chord, third and fifth fret, and then pinky on the melody, fifth fret, first string. Bend, back to fifth fret. Now, E flat triad, so that's 8, 8, 6, but you're going to bar the sixth fret. This might be hard to do with a pick, so if you're playing with a pick and strumming, you could go like that and use all four fingers. If you're using your fingers, just pinch them. Now a G, so that's 5, 7, mute, 7. And then we're going to resolve to a C. For the second verse, I'd like to show you some alternate chords, that just in case you're interested, and you can practice your C major bar chords way up here. All right. You can also just keep going on the open chords, but I like to offer a couple options. Right. So same strumming pattern. Let me just run through them quickly here. It's all written out as chord diagrams on the Patreon, but here. Same pattern on a C bar chord. Now we go to C major 7. Great chord to know. It would be, 8, mute, 9, 9, 8. Okay, and the first string's muted as well. Then C dominant 7. So just go to 8, mute, 8, 9, 8. And then an F bar chord. Now the same riff as before, but just up an octave. Okay, so that's fifth, fourth, third, second strings. Then go to over E. So just move down a fret. Same thing. Now D7. It's okay if the first string ring is out. Then the same G riff as before. Okay. Now the turnaround, I want to show you two other ways to play it. I showed you this way. We can play it in a way that's really cool. We can mimic the organ part, which I just love doing. So that's one option, right? And let's learn that. Then I'll show you after that George's way of doing it live. That as well. Both are good. So here we go. Fifth string open and first three strings fifth fret. And you want to have the bass ring out, but then you want to lift these fingers like this for 4 hits. All right. So all together first. Then just the fingers 3 more times. Now an E augmented, so now we play E bass and then 5, 5, 4. Same thing. This is the only part where you can't really play it with a pick because there'll be too many open strings ringing out. Now bar the G over the whole area, and it's a C over G, so we want the bass on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and then 5, 5, 3 on the first 3 strings. If you're gonna, and then just lift these ring and pinky while keeping the bar down. Okay, now at D7, we're gonna do this kind of D7. You could just do this D7, but I'm gonna show you this one. It's pretty cool. Open 5th, 3rd, 2nd frets. Back to our main hook. okay? But this time we go somewhere else. So now on the hook, it takes us to the bridge. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. The way George played it live would be this. So it would be open, 7, 5, 5, 5. Same strumming pattern as before. Then just go down a half step to A minor major 7, basically. And then A minor 7 completely, so 5 all the way down. Then a D9. And this D9 might be annoying if it's new to you, but that's what he did. But you're welcome to just make it a 4-finger chord. Totally fine. So that would be, don't want to leave now. No, I believe in how. Right, and then riff. Okay, now on the riff, which we've already learned, all this stuff, from the G here, you go up a whole step to the A and strum it with the 5th string. So it's F, as we've learned, riff, E flat, G, which is 5/7 mute 5/7 mute 7. Then take it all up 2 frets and add the 5th string bass. And I would just go down with your thumb and then do a little strum for a bar. Now we have the bridge, and you're welcome to do a little flourish on the A chord to start it off. Now the pattern here is going to be down, 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 up for each chord. Okay, so A major. This might be a little strange, but we're going to go to 4th fret. That's where the bass goes, and keep barring the 2nd fret. Well, not keep barring it. Switch to barring it, really. 4th, 3rd, 2nd string, 2nd fret, and the 5th string is going to be muted, as is the 1st string. See? Now, middle finger on the F sharp. It's an F sharp minor 7. You're welcome to do it like this instead, but I just keep it here because then I don't have to move anything. Or you could do it like this. That's the typical way to play it. Okay. Now, E over A. So then just go back to an A chord, but strum the E string bass. But, let me throw this in. Ringo's doing a 12/8 thing here, and so what we can do is, you're asking me, in between the vocal phrase, love go. We can do a triplet strum. You can skip that if you want, but it's pretty sweet. You're asking me, will my love grow? Diggity-dig, and then back to normal. Okay? So you can throw that in if you want. Then a D chord, G. Now the bass descending. Okay, so you can hear in George's solo demo, he actually hums that bass part out. So he told Paul to do that, and it's like really masterful composition. But it would be, you could just strum A chord and wait for it to end if you want to keep it simple. But to do that bass descension, it would be 5th, 4th, 3rd of an A chord, then go to 4th fret, 6th string, and you hit bass, 4th, 3rd fret, strings, sorry, tongue-tied, then 3rd fret, so down a half step, down one more half step. Now we're running out of room to finger this, so then just release everything, 1st fret, 4th string open, 6th string, 4th string. So that would be a little slower. Repeat the entire progression. Here it comes, diggity-dee. Well, I don't know. This time the rundown is from C. Really nice stuff. So that would be C chord, 5th, 4th, 3rd strings. Then go to 2nd fret bass, and just, it's more of a G over B at this point. So 4th and 3rd strings are open. Open 5th string, same right hand pattern. This time go to G bass, 6th, 4th, 3rd strings. Now it becomes a C over E for a brief second. So E on the 4th string, or 2nd fret, 4th string, 3rd string, open, 3rd string, and then resolve to the C for the solo. So that would be and then the solo goes over the verse chords. Okay? So let's learn the solo. All right, so the solo, C major, pretty much. 7th to 9th fret hammer on 3rd string, 8th fret 2nd string, back to 3rd string. So there's the first phrase. Next phrase, we're just going to bend it up. If you don't want to bend, you could just slide it. But it's 7 and 9, hammer. This time, 8th fret full note bend, and then unbend, back to 9th fret. So that's There you go, good. Now, next phrase, hammer again. This time, go to index finger for your 8th fret. Hammer to 8th fret again. Now slide 8 to 10. 13 twice. Now, in the electric part, he goes, but I'm just going to go, that's what I did. So you could do an unbend from full step to 13, or like I did on the demo, just go 15, 13, pull off. Now we need to bend this next note. So that would be 15th fret full note bend, unbend, and then 13th fret, 14th fret, 3rd string. So that would be and then slide up to 14 to 13 twice. And then same thing, but this time 9th fret to 8th fret twice. And then kind of slide out of it and land 7th fret 4th string. So that would be, from the whole line would be okay? Now 4th, 7th, and then slide up to 7, 3rd string, 2nd string 7th fret twice, and then pre-bend and unbend at 10th fret. And then we reposition the ring finger, and then bend it whole step twice to 8th fret. So that would be okay. Now a cool little riff here, kind of blues riff. So that would be 8th fret, 9 to 8 pull off 1st string, 11th fret, slide up to 12th fret 1st string, 11, 10. Now he did it here, the next riff, but I can't bend, you can't really bend the 3rd string because it's wound on an acoustic, so I did it here instead. And he does 3 bends the first time, 1, 2, 3, pull off to 1st fret. Then he does 4 bends, then 2 bends. Okay, so that's all together. So it's like you're bending, unbending, that's 1, 3 times, pull off to 1. Then 4 times, then 2 times. So the first time, ready, 3, 4, Then twice. Okay, kind of tricky. Just wing it for a bit and see if you can get it comfortable. It's not like it needs to be exact anyway. Then you would go slide up to 9, 3rd string, 8th fret 2nd string, 10th fret full note bend, and then 10th fret hammer to 10th fret, 8th fret slight bend, 10. Then you're done. And then we can do the riff here. Okay? It's the same thing as here, just different string. So that would be 10 to 12, back to 10, 11, 12, and then you're back to a verse, or back here. So let's run the whole solo. Ready? 3, 4, Nice and slow. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, Good. Something. Okay, and then another verse. The only thing left is the ending, and it's just the hook. And he goes to A, like as if he's going into the bridge, but then it goes back, you know. and just ends on a C chord. All right, so there you go. It's a lot, but hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if there's anything that was rushed or confusing that I can clarify. And most of all, have fun with this and enjoy. Bye.